work on the string compression problem in LeetCode. So this is a question that gets asked during Amazon interviews. So this problem, you'll be given an array of characters and you're supposed to bring down the length of it. So they given a few examples of what's the input. So here you have a case where you have two A's followed by two B's and three C's. So instead of typing I think 7 characters, you can just return 6. So here's the thing, we just say A2, B2, C3. So that brings down the size of the array. But if it's a case where adding the number of characters increases it, then we return the smaller one and just return A. So here they've given another example, we just say A, B12. And you notice an interesting problem. I think, so when I first solved this problem, I missed this edge case. So instead of typing B1, so basically instead of saying B12, you should say B1, 2. There are actually two elements which are being added to the array. So that's another edge case which a lot of people who start solving this problem, they forget to ask. Even I forgot to check this when I was trying to solve it. So this is an edge case you should think of. So you get extra points for noticing these things during the interviews. So yeah, the way we are going to solve it is we are going to have essentially 3 pointers. So one pointer is the one which is going to keep track of where we are currently. So this will be the one where we'll be using it to store the actual character and the number of elements. Then we are going to use 2 pointers and we'll keep incrementing 1 pointer until we reach a point where the character is different from the first one. And then we use that for determining the count of how many characters were added, how many characters are present in the array, and then we keep incrementing until we reach the end of the array. So, Alex, yeah, it'll be easier to solve and to explain. So first, let's look at the edge case where there's just one character. So in this case, we're just returning whatever the size of the array is. Now let's try adding the 3 pointers we mentioned. So index equal to 0, I equal to 0. Then while so these are 2 pointers. And the end of this program will be returning the index. So I'll just add it here. And then this is a third pointer which will be used for keeping track of how many characters are matching in the array. So in j equal to I. So now we are going to have a inner loop inside this. So this one is going to check while j So essentially what we are doing is we are first assigning both of them to the same index. And then the second pointer, we keep incrementing it until we reach a point where the characters don't match. So when we reach this point, now's the time we need to keep a count. So the count of the characters would be, the second index minus the first index. So here, for example, the index is 0, the index of B is 2, so number of characters was 2. So now we have two options. One is if the character size is just 1, we don't need to add it. So let's first add that case. So essentially we're just adding the first character. So in the result array, we're just adding A. Now to keep the count, let's first say if the count is greater than 1. Right now we have it as an integer. Let's first convert it into a string. Convert it into a character actually. Character. So actually there's one more way we can use for converting something to a character array. So I just converted this to a string dot to. So So essentially what this does is it converts the given integer into a string, and then we call it dot to character array to make it into a so that way it'll be easier to add it. So for so essentially what we are doing is for the first case where if the count is equal to 1, essentially there isn't much to do. We just say I equal to j. So we just increment the the second pointer to wherever the value of j is, and we keep incrementing it until we reach the end. So here, for example, if the count is greater than 1, so for example if it's 2, one thing we do is we first take the count, convert it into a character array, and then we add those values to the index. So this is a special case we are adding. Initially people forget to do this, that the 12 should be treated as two different values inside the array. And then finally we assign the first pointer to where the second pointer is. So yeah, we keep doing it until we reach the end of the array. So let's try testing. So yeah, there's a possible solution. I'm surprised I, let's see, maybe there's something better we could have done to improve the memory. Maybe instead of converting it like this, there's probably like an integer dot uh, pass int, or some, not integer, cast string dot pass, which will use to convert. I don't know if the memory for that is much better, but other than that, I think this is the best way to do it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, leave comments on if anyone has a better solution for it.